Okay, I figured out my key to success, now I'm locked in. I learned how to open doors like a locksmith.
Welcome back. You are now locked in with DK and Atwood. I'm Atwood. Killer to my left is DK. Here on the mats at the Next Element Academy in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Let's just hop right into it because I'm an idiot and I forgot to fully charge the camera.
Oh, man. And then we just talked about like a bunch of tattoo stuff.
Yeah,
right
for like 5
start.
minutes. That's 5 minutes
5
wasted.
minutes gone. Yeah.
Let's open up with the Jake and Nate Diaz fight. You just watched a couple clips from it. We've already had, and obviously I'm no expert, but we've had a little disagreement on the fight, right? So I said that I thought that Jake was he's definitely shown progress.
As far as being a boxer, 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
And I thought that he has some skills, but so you're the fighter, right? So based off what you've seen, what is your assessment?
He's definitely got some skills. His footwork has gotten a whole lot better. He's still slapping punches. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I talk about when he throws his punch, it comes from here, and he's hitting like this, and then rotating over, right? Whenever it should come, if a straight punch should come straight when you're a pugilist,
Okay.
Right?
I don't know what that means.
Pugilist.
Yeah, what is that? Are you going to have to look it up too?
I want to say it's just a boxer. It's like sport boxing,
My girlfriend, she's watching
hitting
this,
with your
and
hands.
I guarantee you
Pugilist.
she's laughing at me for not knowing what that means. But you're an English
It
major.
is.
Well,
a pugilist is a boxer, especially a professional one. So, yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So,
Well, great word.
Dude. So, dude
I learned
said that to
something
me the other day. He's like, "You're a pugilist." And I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about." He's like, "You're a boxer."
What the fuck did you say to me?
Yeah, I was like, "What, bro? Did you call me a cracker?" Anyways, man. So when he's got a good stance, man. No BS. He's got a good stance. His elbows are in. You were saying his hands are down some. Yeah, he kind of gets in this little hoppy, bouncy thing with his hands down, and that's not my style. As you can see, like I have a Gotti Ward shirt on. If you guys haven't seen the trilogy, Gotti, Mickey Ward, and Arturo Gotti, that's a boxing match to watch. You want to watch two dudes like boom, they're here and go. Well, fun fact is one of my old boxing coaches used to help train Arturo Gotti. Used to be part of his camp and everything. Yeah, so my old boxing coach back up in Jersey, who is going to be in the corner of Francis Marshall this weekend for UFC.
Okay.
They're fighting at Apex Center.
Oh, that's Kurt's guy, right?
Yep, Kurt's guy. Yep. So that was Kurt's boxing coach as well. We call him Mickey Red. Mike Skronkowski is his name, but he don't even have any hair, so Mickey Red.
So was he a ginger?
I think he was a ginger.
Oh,
yeah. Okay. Ever since I knew him, he didn't have any hair.
Been bald?
So, yeah, he's been bald. So, but anyways, so he kind of throws looping punches and kind of smacking. He's not leading with his first two knuckles for a lot of things. And he kind of sometimes it looks like when he sees an opening, he kind of stumbles in a little bit, when he's throwing his punches, kind of like he's getting tripped over his feet. And, I got to give credit where it's due, man. Like, the kid came in to boxing and in front of crowds for his very first fight.
I think he's been doing it like 3-4 years now, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. But, now he's paying guys very well to be his trainers. I think he's got a boxing ring in his house, doesn't he?
Yep.
Yeah. So, he's can pay any trainer he wants right now. Sky's the limit.
Right.
So, and he's making a ton of money right now. Yep. It's ridiculous.
I think he made just $40 million for that.
I think,
fight.
And see, that was just another revenue of income for him. Now something happens in the fight. It makes a big thing. What's he do? He immediately makes a hat or a shirt with something to do from the fight.
Yeah.
That like a saying. I can't remember what he did.
Kind of like what Barstool does.
Yep.
Something happens, they immediately have merch.
Yep. Yeah, something like something that goes viral or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man, like the kids just cashing in on social media, and I mean, you know, it's kind of wild, you know, that a lot of people that get big in boxing or want to get big in boxing come from nothing.
Right.
And I'm not sure what Jake Paul did whenever he.
Oh, he started off on Disney Channel.
Yeah, so
I
thought
like
I saw him on
teenager.
like a little teeny bopper thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know what his life was like before that, so I can't
Right.
talk about that. You know, I can just say like, man, the past, 10 years of your life haven't been rough. You know,
Right.
a lot of these dudes that are boxing. Have you seen the kids boxing in Africa?
No, but I can
and
only
Uganda
imagine.
and stuff like that, man? It is unreal, these kids, what they're doing and how good they are.
Right.
You know, I mean, they're having like village boxing tournaments and shit like that, man. It's like wild, and their gear and their equipment is just subpar and everything else. So it's like the thing about boxing is you can get good from nothing.
Yep.
You know, you can get good. You don't even need a heavy bag. I remember when I was a kid, my dad was in prison when I was, from the time I was 6 all the way till I was 16. My dad sent me his bag gloves that he was hitting the bag with. I guess, I don't know if they got rid of the heavy bag and, or whatnot where he was at, but, and I would find the stud on my wall in my house. So I had, you remember the wood paneling, so I had wood paneling up in my room. And so it's like the parts that didn't have studs kind of sunk, you could kind of push in, you could feel, and then where the stud.
Yeah.
So I just found where the stud was, and that's where I would practice my jabs, and I would practice my crosses, and I would punch the stud, boom, boom, boom. And then I had a bedpost in my room as well. And this is all I did by myself. I did this by myself when I was like teenager, man. And I would hit the wooden post, as I was kind of going around it, just boom, 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 boom. I didn't know really about boxing. I knew my dad was a Golden Glove boxer, and I knew my dad, sent me these gloves, and I'm like, man, I want to fight. And that's kind of what kind of started fueling me,
Okay.
And I just wanted to be able to knock people out, so I wanted to, hit hard things like the wooden post or the stud in the wall or something like that, And so it's like, it's crazy to see Jake, that's.
Yeah. And I mean,
he doesn't need to box is what I'm trying to say. He doesn't need to box to make money.
Yep.
He has other streams
he's good.
But he's a businessman now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And
but
he's very smart. Like, contrary to what a lot of people think. So I watched the new documentary that just came out on him on Netflix. And that is a very good documentary.
Yeah.
I recommend anybody watch that. And, you get a better understanding for the genius, the marketing genius that the kid is, man. The guy is so smart. And I mean, that comes
he just
with the
knows what
territory
his people want.
He knows what his demographic wants.
Yes.
He knows his lane. And I mean, the dude juices, or I guess milks it would be a better thing.
Juices.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. Juice. I would not be surprised if he does. Dude's gotten a lot bigger.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just a very interesting documentary. And it kind of like, I don't know, it made me like him a little more. I guess that's what it was supposed to do, but it really made me like the dude a little bit more. But I've seen just about all of his boxing matches over the years, from whenever he boxed Nate Robinson and, people like that. I mean, obviously it's Nate Robinson. He's a professional athlete, but a basketball player, right? Ben Askren, it's Ben Askren. Tyron Woodley's when he started gaining a little bit of my respect. Then he beat him again. So the dude's definitely getting better. So I have to give him respect.
Yeah, he's definitely getting better in front of the world.
Millions. Yeah. I would, Tommy Fury, I would like to see him box some boxers instead of just UFC guys who are on the way out. But, it is what it is. There'll come a time. And hopefully we get to see him and Nate do that MMA rematch. That'd be cool. He offered Nate $10 million. Nate said he'd be willing to do it if his Real Fight Inc. could co-promote with PFL. So we'll see. That'll be cool to watch as well because, supposedly Jake and his brother have a wrestling background. We'll see how that works. But I think with the smaller gloves, Nate isn't going to look so slow.
That and the fact that, man, them triangles slap on easy, bro.
And kicks.
Slap that triangle on.
Yeah.
Wrestling background. Boop. Slap. That's the thigh smacking into the side of that neck. Man, slap. What it is, man. But yeah, man. So and then what else happened this weekend? It was
so they had the Sandhagen fight.
Yeah.
But before we jump into that, because that's going to be a cool fighter and fan perspective. But we could also have another fighter fan perspective that happened last weekend or the weekend before last with the big UFC card. So Stephen Thompson was supposed to fight Michel Pereira.
Yeah.
Pereira missed weight by 3 pounds, I think. So Stephen's like, all right, well, we're not fighting. They had a replacement for Pereira. Stephen said, I didn't prepare for him. I don't want to fight him. So the UFC said, well, you're not getting paid then. It's $250,000. He didn't get paid. I don't think he even got paid to make weight. He didn't get paid to show money. And obviously, he didn't fight the guy, so he didn't get a purse. And if he would have fought the dude and lost, he still would have got 20% of Pereira's purse. But last time Stephen did that, I forget who it was against.
Till. Yeah.
Yeah. And it didn't end well.
Yeah.
So,
so
what is your perspective from that? Like,
so Thompson's my age. Steven,
yeah, he might be a
Steven's
little
my
bit
age.
older than you.
Maybe 41.
Yeah, something like that. 41, maybe 42. I don't know. Something like
Yeah.
that.
So that's one thing we got to look at, right?
Yep.
He's older.
Yep.
He has everything to lose, nothing to gain, really. So yeah, like awesome. He takes the fight, right? The guy's over 3 pounds, and like, I don't know, man. Obviously, I would have taken the fight. I would have fought. But I'm a different human being.
Right.
I do things different, and I've been burned like that too. I've been burned. Guy doesn't make. I'm like, give me some money. We're good. Let's just fight. You know what I'm saying? Or, or it's like, go finish, go cut it all off. And then some promotions you don't get nothing from it. New Jersey, boy, they take the money from you, bro.
All of it?
I mean, they take a lot of it. Like, I mean, you miss weight in Jersey, they getting you. They gonna get you good. But man, it's wild. I mean, they do like a little thing, boom, 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 and it's like, I mean,
well, like 40% more.
I can't remember what it was, man, but I was thinking it was going to be like $100 a pound or something like that, man, and it was not like that. I'm not going to like, one of my fighters was over a little bit, and I was like, they'll probably get you for 100, maybe 200, because he was like 1.5 pounds over, maybe 0.7 over.
Oh wow!
I mean, it was nothing.
They took a lot, huh?
And they took like $350, man, out of like, because they took it out of his win percentage, out of the total what he was gonna get. I mean,
that's crazy.
Fortunately, he won. So
right. Well, you brought up a good point, right? At this point in his career, because if you think about it, you're Stephen Thompson. If you lose now,
you're done.
You're not. There's no chance you're gonna have a chance of winning a title or even getting a shot.
Yeah.
Because, even if you weren't at this stage of your career, you lose, that probably sets you back 2, maybe 3 fights, depending on how you perform with even getting to that spot to be a contender again,
It's tough coming back, man. Dude, I was on a 4-fight win streak, and I was like, and I fought Sabah Hamasi on a week's notice, and he was like, you got to do 75. Man, I barely had to cut for 70. I was walking around at 75. I'm like, sure, let's do it. And it hurt me, man, and that started me just a downward spiral from there. It's like, I think I was 11-6 or 12-6 or something like that when I fought Sabah Hamasi. So, I was talking to other bigger, Bellator. I'd been talking to, some people with the Ultimate Fighter trying to get back on the show, or something, and but then it's just started spiraling out. Of
Yeah, so
control.
mentally, it's a big
Yeah,
hit as well.
It is, man. And so it's like he's probably looking for that last fight to go out on his horse, maybe. Who knows where he's at, man?
Yeah.
His dad's a very smart man when it comes to combat sports. His dad's been involved in it since he was a kid, since his dad was a kid. So, I mean, that's a lot of experience.
Yeah. And, I mean, they did find a replacement. It's rumored that replacement was Ian Gary, who is an up-and-comer Irish dude. He's just been finishing everybody. I don't even think he's lost. I don't know his record. I don't want to be way off, but I want to say, somewhere like 10, 11, maybe 12-0.
Yeah.
So, if you're Stephen Thompson, Ian Gary's young too, man. He's like maybe mid-20s, something like that, maybe even a little younger. It's like, do you put it on the line now against somebody who...
Well, you think Stephen in that style is tactical. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's doing things to put you in positions he needs you, and that's just karate, and he's going to do things for his defensive style. He's going to blast. He knows when to spurt forward, and so I don't know. It's definitely smart from a career perspective, but it's also, it could now turn into he doesn't see another fight for another year.
And maybe ever. Depends on how this thing plays out. Maybe they can find him like a replacement on short notice.
Well, and then
for the next couple, but
then it has to turn into a legal battle, man.
Yeah,
and you could be stuck not fighting forever. Now, he doesn't need to fight.
No, the dude. I've seen his G-Wagon.
So I mean, have you their academy, their martial arts academy?
Oh, it's huge.
It's massive.
Yeah.
I think they have like 500 kids.
And that's just kids. Yeah. And, with his name, his dad's name, those kids, those memberships probably aren't cheap.
They probably got more than that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's huge. And
they're not doing a Karate World $49 deal.
Yeah. And not only that, man, like the seminars that dude goes, like he has endorsements. He doesn't need money anymore, right? Like, honestly, if I were him, I probably would have sailed off into the sunset after my last fight.
Yeah.
Who did he fight?
Man, it's hard, dude.
Can't remember.
It's hard, I mean, this.
Well, yeah, it's easy for me to say, right?
Yeah. This sport is it feels, when the highs, I was explaining this to Austin. The highs are the highest of the highs, man. I mean, there is no other experience you can experience next to, the birth of a child, right? That you get when you win a hard fight that you were so scared you were going to lose. The relief and the weight and the just, man, like,
and it's instant.
And it's instant, man. I mean, it's just, you're riding that for a week, like it's just this great feeling, man. Like there is no other worries, man. Like all your other worries are gone, irrelevant anymore. And that is just it, man. It's, it's like, I guess, the closest thing to bliss, that you can experience. It's really hard to explain, honestly, man. It's
better than sex.
Yeah.
I imagine so, but
yeah. I mean, you just got to, dude. When I knocked out this dude, man, what was his name? John Del Bruges at CFFC, and it was I was 6-2. I'd gotten in Bellator. After Bellator, I lost 2 fights in Bellator, and they cut me. First fight, CFFC, and I'm fighting this dude from, trained with, what's those guys' name? Lloyd Irvin, and it's crazy. It's called Crazy 88, but he had a lot of good training partners. Spent a month in Thailand and stuff. I mean, I was worried. Good jiu-jitsu guy, and I was like, man, I got to be ready. And next thing you know, fight's over. I've won. And it's just like, holy crap! Like I was ready for to go through hell, you know, and it's over, you know. But so I know he's probably wanting that high again. Maybe, who knows? I mean, the guy's he's been fighting a long time, you know, and so who knows what he's thinking, man.
Yeah, I mean, if it were,
because I don't think he needs the money.
No, it honestly,
it's
if it weren't so late in his
good
career,
taste,
it would have been probably a good call, right? Like, and who's to really say, except for him, in his situation now. Yeah. But the only thing that might suck this late in his career, is, you know, time is of the essence. It's not like he has time.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like he either fights soon or maybe he doesn't again, and then it's kind of leaves like that stale taste in your mouth, you know. Of just not getting to see him really finish his career.
Yeah.
Even though he had a great fight, his last fight, and he won. You know,
well, hey, listen, man, he's probably definitely going to end up, if he doesn't get paid, you're supposed to get paid for making weight, man. That's just like, you did your job. Your job was to show up, make the weight for the fight, before the fight.
Right.
Your opponent didn't make weight, but he was what? You know, like, did his opponent get paid? Or
no? Probably not, no. See, he might have gotten paid from making weight, but definitely didn't get anything else.
Well, that's your show purse.
Right.
That's your show purse is when
they
you
made
make
it seem
weights,
like he didn't get paid at all.
Yeah, and he might not have.
Right.
That's what I heard.
And
that he didn't get paid at all either.
If you're looking at it from the UFC's perspective, it's kind of like, oh, you guys are just salty that he didn't want to fight somebody that, you know, could have been a completely different style or whatever at the last second, because you had this crazy card built and that fight got dropped, but it wasn't his fault. Like, you have to pay the man something. Like, I mean, you know, from both sides, right? Being a fighter and a coach, it's not cheap.
Yeah, and it's tough saying no to fight when you got people that have paid money to see you,
right? Yeah, people
that are counting on you, sponsors that have already paid you. You know, a lot goes into it, man. You know, I mean, I've accepted a fight on an hour's notice before. Just like, hey, man, so and so, he didn't show up, so I asked this guy, and he said, yeah, is that cool with you? I'm like, we're here, man. I got my hands wrapped. Like, I guess, yeah.
It seems like a setup.
That was like my third fight, dude. Third fight, yeah.
Oh, in Alaska, huh?
In Alaska, yeah. My third fight. It's like, this dude, I'm like, he's like, you want to fight him? And I'm like, look at the guy. And he had fought. He had a professional record. He had been fighting down in Anchorage and stuff. And I was like, well, if I say no, I look like a bitch.
Yeah, right.
You know, I look like I'm scared of this dude. And it's like, I'm not scared of the dude, but I am scared of the dude. Yeah. You know, I'm scared of getting beat, you know, because the dude was good, you know. The kid was like, you know, I was a little scared.
And I imagine
you know?
You're thinking of your record too, especially starting off. You want to have a good record, and you're like
2-0.
Yeah,
I was
just like
2-0 at the time.
I don't want to tarnish what I have so far, even if it's 2-0. You don't want to tarnish that off of somebody else's mistake.
It's like I wasn't mentally prepared for this dude. You know what I'm saying? It's like I was not mentally, but sometimes like that, it's like boom, here you go. But dude, you talking about like just totally ruined my vibe. The rest of that, like I just like boom, flat. Because I thought I was fighting this other dude, this Army guy, and he didn't show up, man. Yeah,
that's gotta suck.
Yeah. And so they're like, yeah, we asked so-and-so, he said no. And then we asked so-and-so, he said no. And then I asked Max over here, and he says, yeah. He says, yeah. And I said, how much you weigh? He says he's weighing around 186 right now. I said, I weighed in at 170 yesterday, man. You know what I'm saying? I was like 175. And I'm like, sure. Yeah, you know. So fought him. I got cut in the second round. So like when I was fighting amateur, you could throw elbows, knees, everything. And so I got caught with a little elbow from side control. He was in top side control. Boom, sliced me open. I start bleeding. I go back second round. We'll go back to the corner, and it's like we didn't have a corner stool. There was no cut man.
Yeah.
it was, I had to stand up, and my corner had to they didn't let them in. They had to climb up the cage and stuff,
Oh, really?
Yeah, to or throw me my water bottle over the cage.
Damn.
And talk to me through the cage. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was different when I got my first 6 fights were in Alaska. And so it was just different.
Yeah.
It was just like wild, wild west, man. It was like dudes were getting in a cage and they were fighting. And here's your water bottle. Here's your towel. Clean yourself up, pal. Throw it back over when you're done.
Throw the Vaseline over too.
Yeah, man. So it's like, I think when I went down to AFC down in Anchorage, my first pro fight, because I got paid as an amateur, man. Like it was like, hey, we'll pay. They called it semi-pro. I don't remember. Right. Yeah, they call it semi-pro MMA, and so you go down. It was 150 to fight, 150 to win. Yeah, and so it's like, man,
man, how shit has changed, right?
Yeah. But I mean, that's amateur. So now, amateur in South Carolina couldn't do it, but Alaska was wild, wild west, dude. Like,
yeah.
I mean, you could.
We said most of the time you guys were on
pros could fight
right?
amateur. No. It was unsanctioned. The whole state was unsanctioned. They didn't have a sanctioned body for fighting.
Gotcha,
dude. They would do boxing shows at this venue that I would fight at in Fairbanks.
Wow.
Yeah, the Carlson Center. His name was like an ice hockey place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Wild times, man. But yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, since we're on the subject of UFC, another thing we want to talk about, we're on this whole fighter and fan perspective. So Corey Sandhagen, very, very good bantamweight. Yeah, he's bantamweight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, bantamweight.
Yeah.
Known for like his striking, right? The dude's got some crazy kicks.
Solid stand up.
Yeah. We got to see some wrestling from him this past weekend. He fought Rob Font, another great fighter. Both of them top 10 bantamweight. But people are criticizing Sandhagen because he wrestled Font. I think he had like 20 minutes control time on the bottom out of a 25-minute fight.
Yeah.
And people, from fans' perspective, now I'm a fan, but I do train, so I think my perspective is a little different from like a casual fan. Most casual fans, they want their interpretation of a fight. They want
to see blood,
and it's standing, right? They don't like the jiu-jitsu and the wrestling. So of course people were booing and they were pissed.
Yeah, because they don't understand.
Right. Dana White supposedly got up and left.
Who?
Dana White got up and left during the fight, really? And so Sandhagen's getting a lot of criticism from the fans' perspective. Now, from a fighter's perspective, I can imagine that you guys just wouldn't give a shit because it's your career you're looking after, your health. You're the one that's trying to get a title shot.
So I think he was injured too. Yeah,
he tore tricep or something like that.
And then he was saying he was dealing with some bursitis in his elbow. So I've had bursitis in my knee. I posted a video on my story a couple days ago.
Yeah, I want to say I saw that.
Yeah, and it was my 3rd or 4th.
You had like a sleeve underneath.
Yeah, it was my 3rd or 4th pro fight, and I couldn't train for 2. So I had fought that same month, and so at the end it was in June. I fought like early June, and then I fought again in late June. And I had bursitis on my knee, man. I hadn't been able to train in 2 months. My knee was swollen up, dude. It was hot, and because it was an infection, man. It was like an infection inside. Mm-hmm. People can get that on their elbow, like if you bang it on the mat or, somebody kicks it or something like that. And, man, like you got to take care of that. I mean, you can't train, dude. And any touching on it, it's like,
oh, yeah.
I had to, so I heard he was injured like that. My elbows, and it was on his elbow as well. My elbow was injured so bad, and this was, man, I've been getting memories from, past times. So I was supposed to fight in Kuwait.
Jeez.
Blake Grice actually got me that fight.
Yeah.
I was supposed to fight in Kuwait on September 11th of all things, right?
Damn.
Yeah. In Kuwait. And I was supposed to fight one of Khabib's teammates as well. But leading up to the fight, I'm training. I've always had like tendonitis problems in my elbow. And I've had multiple cortisone shots in my elbow. But this one, I hadn't had one up to this point. I didn't really understand it yet. It was like, I don't know cortisone, you know, like. So I'm sparring and dude kicks me. My elbow hyperflexes, not hyperextends,
right?
Hyperflexes, and it pops, and I lose my strength in my arm. It's like you know, and I'm dead, dude. I'm done sparring for that day. I was first round, man. That's I'm supposed to do 5.5s. Done sparring for that day. Go home, you know. Next day, my arm is like I can't barely straighten my arm. It's like this, dude. That, and take a picture of it. I was like, this is as far as I can straighten my arm to Blake, you know, after 3 days. And I said, man, my plane tickets were booked. Yeah, man. Damn. You're talking like Blake was going to be my cornerman.
Damn.
Yeah. And so it was going to be, we're going to fly over there, and I had to pull out, and Tanner Saraceno ended up taking my place. Yep.
Why does that name sound familiar?
Man, he was on that wrestling tough wrestler, that wrestling reality
fighting?
series. Yeah, he's still fighting.
Is he in Bellator?
No, he's not.
I think I'm
but
thinking of somebody
he's a
else.
local dude. He trains out of Revolution MMA up in Simpson. Irmo.
Yeah, I think I'm thinking of somebody
Spartanburg,
else.
Irmo area. So, anyways, yeah, man. So I can just I've been in the 3rd round. Can't throw a punch because my knuckle is broken.
Right.
You know, can't throw an elbow with my right elbow because my elbow is just pumped up from getting kicked, you know, with shins. And so, man, it's like I got in full mount on this dude in Orlando, and I couldn't throw a right elbow or a right hand, and so I just held him there in full mount. So it's like, man, I can't do anything. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, bang, he's trying to hold on to me too, and it's like I can't really use my good arm, you know, to throw any elbows. So it's wild, man. You know, like when you're in a fight, you're not really thinking about what the fans think. You're thinking of survival.
Yeah. Well, not only that, you're thinking of your career, like what's paying your bills.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
So say you were in Sandhagen's position, and like these fans were saying these things to you. What is your response to them?
It's like, man, walk a mile in my shoes.
Yeah, kind of like get fucked.
You know? Yeah, dude. Like, it's the Monday morning. It's the armchair quarterback or whatever it's called. Monday morning armchair quarterback.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, man, with fighting. It's like so many people that don't train, they don't understand it. They don't understand, like, the grappling exchanges, how hard it is. Man, he might, like, get there, and the guy on bottom might be, it's his job to get up.
Right.
The guy's job on bottom is to get up when somebody takes you down. That's just the way it is, you know? And we're seeing a more, it's going to look like it's boring, but there's a battle going on down there. Man,
and when you kind of, speaking for myself, when you kind of understand what's going on, it gets way more interesting. Yeah. Because I used to be one of those casual fans.
Let's say the guy that's on top, let's say if he's not trying to hold him down, the guy on bottom should just be able to get up.
Yep.
Honestly, he would just be able to get up. If the guy on top is not trying to hold him down, he would just be able to get up. Not all the time. Sometimes guys just lays on him there, but he's trying to actively keep him down there. I'm pretty sure the guy on bottom is trying to get up. He's trying to submit you. He's trying to elbow you. He's trying to punch you.
Yeah.
He's trying to cross face you. He's trying to hammer fish you. He's trying to heel kick you in the butt to make you get Charlie horse and like
kidneys or something.
Yeah, dude, like this is the people. There's so much going on that people don't think about, you know?
Yeah. And I think he also, by wrestling like he did, kind of sent a message to the people at the top of that division who are predominantly wrestlers.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's Sterling, who knows what he's going to do. He might go up to 145. Marab.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to say his last name. He was a teammate of Sterling's, like wrestler, you know. So maybe, you know, while trying to preserve his arm, sending a message at the same time, and just getting the win, getting paid, and staying in the win column, moving up to a better fight.
He's just they're going to try to probably throw him to the Wolves next fight to make him want to.
If we know Dana White, he will.
That's the way it goes, man.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you know what? Here you go.
Yeah. Well, he said that he had talked to Dana afterwards, and who knows? They made it seem like that's why Dana just wasn't impressed, so he left her in the fight. But maybe he had something else going on.
Yeah.
A lot of things happen, at fights that fans don't see, unless you're behind the scenes and you see what's going on.
Yeah.
So maybe
catch his private jet.
Yeah, maybe. So who knows why he left? But Sandhagen had said that he didn't seem mad or anything like that. I don't know if Dana's commented on it or not, but I just thought it was interesting, and it's a cool thing to talk about since we have both perspectives here, from a fighter and from a fan's point of view. But besides that, it was a good fight. I mean, it's not like he just laid on him; like he was active.
Yeah,
as active
and
as he
Dana
could be.
said, I think he said to Dana, he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry," blah blah blah, and he was like, "Man, it's all good."
Yeah,
something. So, but that's what he's could have said, and who knows what he's gonna.
Yeah, and we all know how Sandhagen can fight. Mm-hmm. That's the difference too. I mean, it's not like he just got into the UFC.
Yeah, he's a banger, man.
Yeah. Loved him and TJ Dillashaw.
Yeah, that was a good fight.
That was a great fight, dude. Oh, and TJ says that he might come back at some point.
See, he's like promoting some testosterone stuff, like
I did see
stuff.
that. Yeah.
People are like just commenting underneath it. It was like, dude, come on.
Yeah.
You're not raising your testosterone by 500 taking those things.
Yeah. I felt so bad for him too, man. Like the whole shoulder thing. I don't know, man. I hated
he's my age too, man.
Yeah, he's not far. He's got to be 38-ish, somewhere around there.
A lot of these OGs, man.
Dude, he was on the season of The Ultimate Fighter that you would have been on, I believe.
Season before.
Was it season before? Yeah. Okay, got you. So the coaches for your season it would have been Dominic and Uriah Faber, right?
And Uriah Faber,
yeah.
They announced it, dude. So when we were there. You didn't
know the coaches before you
didn't know.
Oh.
We didn't know the coaches were, but so while we were there, because it was going to be live, they didn't want. So, I found out through like the fighter guys going around because we had to like meet up. There's like a certain group of us. And they'd take us around in these white vans to our medical appointments, and like drop us off there, and then come back and pick us up all in like a big group setting. Man, It was really. It's kind of crazy. But at the end, it was like the final day, there's like 40-something guys got to come back to this big production room, and that's where they had like half of a cage set up, and they had like the fake workout room with the ropes and the heavy bag and stuff, and they had the lights and, stuff going on, and that was like the talk going around was like, oh, Dominic's going to be coach, I want to be on his team or so and so, like that. So yeah, it was interesting. But I mean, that was in January. I think the show started in March or something like that.
Right. A lot of production goes into
Can't remember.
That shit.
Maybe even later than that. It might have been May. The show started. Can't remember. No, it's been March because I think I fought my first Bellator fight in May.
All right on. Yeah. Well. Damn. We never really wanted to think back on things and be like, what if? But dude, it would have been cool watching you on ESPN Plus,
Man, I had to go through like to meet because I was active duty Air Force at the time, man. I had a package. People don't understand what was going on in the background, dude.
Right.
I didn't have enough leave to be gone because it was a live season, so I had to be there for like 12 weeks, right, for them to film this thing. And I was messaging some friends of mine that were on the show, like Jeff Lentz was on season 12. I was like, how much did you get paid for this? And like, did you get paid for the fight? And so, he would give me all right, I was trying to do, will I be able to survive? You know what I'm saying? Because I wouldn't have been getting, there's so much leave that I needed. I would have been going in the hole and requesting extra leave through the military. You only get 30 days a year. I was going to have to be gone for 12 weeks, man.
Yeah.
So, it was, what's that? That's 6 weeks, that's 3-4 months. 4 months.
Yeah. You're looking at you would have been well over your leave.
Yeah.
Probably like triple.
Yeah. And so what I had to do, I had to put in some crazy requests to be a professional athlete and asking for them to let me out to pursue this professional athlete tryout or something like that. It was, man, you talking about a dude that was like researching everything. Nobody was helping me do that. I didn't have a manager. It was me doing everything on my own and like finding the information out, you know. And anyways, took it up to my colonel. I had a colonel that was trying to help me out. His name was Colonel Owens, and he was our wing commander. So we have a squadron, and then over that squadron, you have several squadrons, and then over all those several squadrons, you have a wing commander who's, you know, has these squadrons inside their wing. Anyways, he was trying to help me out, man, and you know, I would just check in. He's like, hey, your package is on its way up to the Pentagon and shit. And I was like, oh, dude, just like that. It's crazy. And so he's like, just keep me informed on what's going on. I was like, yes, sir, we'll do. And, man, it was wild. And then 2 weeks before the show started, you know, I found out I didn't make it. So I had to let that colonel know. It was like, hey, you can pull my package. I don't need it anymore. So, yeah. So people don't understand the hoops, man. I had jumped through so many hoops just to be a fighter.
And not even, like, just imagine how many other dudes, like, there's probably dudes that go into that show that are just, like, damn near homeless, if not homeless. Like, I've seen a couple who are like, I've been sleeping at the gym. Yeah. You know? Like, just because they're getting onto that show and they're a good fighter doesn't mean that they're
nothing. Yeah,
that they're financially good. Yeah,
like, their life is squared away.
So many sacrifices.
But after that, man, after that sacrifice, I was like, all right, I need to get out of here, man. Like, I need to get out of here and start living my life the way I want to live it, you know. And so, I mean, that was so shortly after that, a couple years after that, I was gone.
Nice.
Yeah. So
well, you know, I'd mentioned when we started this that I forgot to fully charge the camera. I don't know where we're at, but I see we're still recording. So while we are still recording, it's going to be a shorter episode, but you want to take us out? Yeah, guys. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. We appreciate you guys. Man, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, keep, you know, sharing to your friends, letting other people know about it that are into this martial arts stuff or mixed martial arts stuff, combat sports stuff. We talk about it all here. And, you know, the fighter's perspective, the fans' perspective, you know, the referee's perspective, we got it all, man. So thank you guys so much. And, cool. Yeah. Everything DK just said. We appreciate you guys tuning in. And, God, it's going to sound so, I'm not even going to say it. That was too cliche. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm going to get an idiot myself. But yeah, until next time. Later. Appreciate you staying locked in.